Welcome to Conversations for the Animals. I am Lisa Tynan from Houston Pet Set, and I am joined today by media royalty, Freddy Cruz. I'm going to pump you up so you're excited to talk about everything today.
All right.
If you are in any way, shape, or form a radio listener in Houston, you have heard the dulcet tones of Freddy Cruz talking to you in the afternoon. But what you may not know is that he is also an animal lover and an animal advocate, and you have been championing animal causes for quite some time. So I'm excited to hear today, first of all, about who you are, where you came from, what you do, and then about, how you're involved in this animal welfare world. So welcome.
Thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be invited by Houston Pet Set. And I am not normally the kind of guy to correct a host when I've been graciously invited, but I am not media royalty. I'm a jester.
Oh, okay. My bad.
More of a, no, I'm just kidding. That's very kind of you.
Sure.
A long time ago, 75,000 years, I was on the radio. Yes.
Yeah.
But no, animals, and I was thinking about this, Lisa, on the way up here. I've always had a thing for animals since, obviously when you're a kid, you love dogs and just everything, roly-polies. Never had one of those. But my first dog, Jeffrey, who we lost, this dates me 75,000 years ago, Hurricane Alicia, he ran away, and sadly we weren't able to recoup him. But, I've always had a thing for animals. So it's just what I do. And any way I can help, someone invites me to an event. If I can be the court jester, I can be the court jester. I can be the monkey with the mic. If I can be the cheerleader on social media, I'll do that. Yeah. You say jump, I say how high. Do I wear the Christian Louboutins or do I just put on some Vans?
Or even a dog costume.
A dog
the situation
costume
calls for it.
Yeah, absolutely. At CAP, we have a dog costume.
I'm saying.
It's a little small for me, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know they also get kind of hot and stuffy in there, so
yeah,
they're not great for summer.
We are in Houston.
Yeah, that's pretty much all the time. So you have been in media your entire career, right? You started in radio, stayed in radio, now you're doing podcasting. Take us through that journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been, and when you reach a certain age in your 40s, almost 50, you really reflect on your career and what made you who you are. And so I really thought that I was going to be like Bob Allen.
Okay.
I played baseball and football when I was a kid, convinced that I was going to be like Bo Jackson.
Oh, everybody thinks they're going to be the next Bo Jackson.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Absolutely. I mean, the legendary 91-yard touchdown run, Monday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks, running so fast he goes into the locker room. Well, obviously, I'm not that fast, and all of my friends, I was an early bloomer. All of my friends passed me up, and then all of a sudden, Freddie couldn't bench press 250 pounds 20 times and squat 500 pounds. So I sat the bench most of my senior year in high school, but it was one of those things where, well, what could I do? I could be a sportscaster and I want to be like Bob. And so I got into radio as a stepping stone into TV and never really looked back. And then I ended up being in top 40 radio. And, this is how the universe has a way of really working in mysterious ways, is that I'm also on the board of A Place for Peanut, which was founded by Megan Cardette, who was the fiance of the late Bob Allen.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How did that come about?
Yeah. I met Megan and Jane Edison, who are dear friends of mine. I met them back in 2017 through Casey Curry, and they were on my Sunday morning show when I was on the radio with a previous employer of mine. And we just hit it off because, I mean, who doesn't love puppies and kittens and miniature freaking horses and donkeys?
Yeah, truly. Now, did they know that Bob Allen was your North Star? That was just purely coincidence.
Yeah, it was a coincidence, and it really didn't hit me until I'm like, oh, that was who that was founded by.
Wow.
That's and it took a couple of years of getting to know one another before I ended up being, invited to the ranch and then invited to be on the board, which was last year. So
it's still recent.
Yeah, so very,
wonderful.
very recent. Yeah.
That's awesome. And so now you have your own podcasting company, Speke Podcasting.
Yeah.
How did you get that started?
Well, I couldn't find a job after I fired my previous employer.
Yes.
And
well,
so,
look,
yeah.
sometimes that is when one door closes, a
Yeah.
gigantic door opens, and you find
Yeah.
yourself in a great position now where you get to be your own boss.
Yeah. So it's 400 applications, 55 plus rejections, and some interviews that didn't go well. And so one morning I woke up and I said, "You're hired."
Me, I'm my boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss. But yeah, so Speke Podcasting is a reiteration of the first business, which I, again, thinking that I was going to find a job after I decided not to renew with my previous employer, and it took 7 months for me to realize that, yeah, you're on your own, dude. I decided to completely rebrand from doing all things audio to just focusing on podcasting and naming it and being very deliberate with who I serve and the kind of guests that my clients have. And it's helping people speak up and use their voices. So why would it be called Speke Podcasting where it's Speke? Well, my dogs are Sparrow and Zeke, both of which come from Citizens for Animal Protection. And so it's sort of this, I wouldn't bash it by calling it woo-woo, but it really just reminds me of who and what I'm hoping to help.
That really grounds it, I think.
Yeah.
That's why you're doing it. I didn't know that was a portmanteau of their names. That makes me so happy. So CAP, one of our amazing partners. We love them so much. Yeah. We're excited to be honoring the immaculate Cappy Munzer as one of our 20 for 20 this year.
Love her.
So how did you start working with them, in the very beginning? Because now you do marketing for them, correct?
Yes. So I am the marketing coordinator with them, and my relationship with them goes back 2017. I think I was invited to an event, or maybe I really don't remember. The last 7 years are all such a blur, especially the last 4 years.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I was most likely invited to be affiliated with them in some capacity. And I met Sandy. Sandy Mercado is our executive director. Wonderful lady.
Truly.
Great friend. And we adopted Zeke. The old man sadly passed away at the end of 2020, but we adopted him in 2011. So we had already known of CAP before I had ever become officially affiliated with them in any sort of capacity.
So you have you said at the beginning, if anyone calls on you to be the jester, the dancing monkey, you do that. And one of the places that we saw you recently was at the Animeals luncheon, where you're sweet. Yeah. We got to meet Sparrow. Yeah. Sweet pup. You were in the fashion show. So do people just know they can reach out to you and you'll show up? I mean, if we want to have you pop out of a cake somewhere, how do people get in touch with you to come be an advocate for animals? Because I know a lot of our partners could really use some help getting the word out, getting that advocacy seen by a new audience.
Yeah. I will tell you, I don't jump out of cakes because it'll probably end up getting eaten first. I will say that. But if someone would like to, I'd be honored to go out, MC an event, lead a fun run. Don't let looks deceive you. I can run 4 miles without dying.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I love animals so much. They're so pure. There's just, when you're speechless, I yak for a living.
Yeah.
And when you're speechless and when you think about animals and how, it's when you slow down and you ground yourself. It's funny, before we started talking, we were joking about an existential conversation.
Truly.
But when you walk an animal, and I've got Sparrow in my life, and he's 10 now, and when you take him out and you don't bring this, and you
Don't
leave
bring
your
your phone.
earbuds at home, and you walk with him, and you see the different shades of green and the blades of grass, and oh, the dirt is different shades of brown, and oh wow, you actually hear probably real sparrows,
Right.
and cardinals and pigeons or whatever, and then you get pooped on the shoulder, but
Wow.
but
Some say that would be good luck.
it would be good luck, apparently. But it grounds you, and it reminds you of just how beautiful nature is, and it reminds you of that there's more to life than just likes, shares, emails, voicemails.
It's a good reminder. I mean, the current, quip that people will say when someone is getting too stressed out or losing their cool or whatever is go touch grass. It's meant to be a little bit insulting, of course, but it's true. Like, go outside, and if you have a dog or a cat or a horse or whatever, it's such a good excuse because, even if maybe you don't feel like it, you have somebody depending on you. Do you know Sparrow's story?
Only because, oh my goodness, I'm outing myself here, but his microchip information was not updated. Get your microchip information updated, please, for the love of Pete.
Gasp.
Okay, I know. He ran away. And we live in a community where, there are Facebook groups for lost pets.
Yeah.
This is
the
how
best.
amazing humanity is. I'm long on humanity, by the way, even though we sometimes see the worst. But I'm long on humanity. So a lady and her daughter found him and took him to Banfield to have him scanned. And they called me because it happened to be the Banfield where we take him.
Yeah.
And so they're like, yeah, we have Sparrow here. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll be there in 10 minutes. I go, and the lady and her daughter are still there, and I'm just like, I'm almost in tears. Like, thank you so much. He's like across a major freeway, 10 minutes away from home. But yeah, they go, the lady at the counter says, yeah, so we scanned his chip and we called the number, and it was his previous owner who said he turned him into Cap because he kept running away. So that's his story.
So now we know.
Now we know.
He's got a history. He's an escape artist.
Yeah, he doesn't run away anymore. He knows where the bread is buttered.
He does. Well, and it's heartwarming to know that, like, even if they have whatever their story is, even if the first go round wasn't right for him, you gave him the second chance, the life that does work. He's not constant. He hopefully hasn't run away again since that. And it's, we talk about adopt, don't shop. It's the hashtag of the century. But truly, just because the animal wasn't right for the last person doesn't mean they're broken, doesn't mean something's wrong with them. And if you could be the right situation for them, maybe his last home he ran away because he wasn't getting exercised enough, or he wasn't getting these long, wonderful walks that you take him on. And it's just it's a shame that, there's a large swath of the public population that doesn't give adoptable animals a chance because they just assume, well, if it's in a shelter, something's wrong with it.
Yes, absolutely. You talk about second chances. We've got at CAP a dog named Emu, who is the most unique looking dog ever. She looks like a raccoon dressed in a dog costume.
Now I need to see a picture.
She's an Australian cattle dog.
Okay. Now I have a better idea.
Okay, so she's got the salt and pepper face, and then the brown and white, but she's mixed with Shepherd, German Shepherd, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Huge, tall, skinny ears, right?
So cute.
But so seriously, like, she's wearing a dog hoodie costume
over a raccoon face.
Over her raccoon face.
I love this.
The sweetest girl, but she's been in and out of our shelter 3 different times because, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we don't judge.
Sure.
It would be easy to want to, but we don't.
Yeah.
And to your point, that she just hasn't met her match.
Yeah.
She just hasn't met her family yet.
Yeah.
And she's still young. She's about a year old, I think. But she gave blood
Oh, she's a lifesaver.
She's a lifesaver.
We love
So she not only gave blood, the blood was used to create a serum, which helped save the vision of, and I forget the number. I'm sorry, everybody at work.
They're going to be writing emails.
Yeah, it's 7 or 8. 7 or 8. Yeah. That's definitely the number. 7 or 8 kittens.
Oh.
Yes.
How amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody who is listening or watching wants a raccoon in a dog costume who also happens to be a lifesaver, give blood, you have to adopt. And also her name is Emu, which is...
I mean, seriously.
I will tell you, so funny, really random aside story. When I was getting my master's in animal behavior, I had to do a master's thesis. And I did mine with the ASPCA in New York. And it was, they gave this thesis to me. I didn't come up with this, but they wanted research on, do pet names in the shelter influence people's decision to adopt?
Ooh,
so I only did cats. And the answer was absolutely nobody is paying attention to cat names. However, which is weird, right? I would think it would have some effect, but people were like, oh, I didn't even notice that the cat had a name because they were just going to rename it. But dogs, I said in my whole thesis, somebody else needs to do this research project on dogs because for some reason, the dog's name has so much more salience to owners because maybe it's because you have to stand outside and yell it in public.
And they answer to it.
And they answer to it. My cats answer to theirs because, you know, I trained them. But people think dog names are probably more important in the adoption process. So I'm curious to know if somebody is like, oh my God, Emu's the best name I've ever heard. I have to go and adopt this dog.
Yeah.
So let's take note. If someone adopts her, please reach out to us and let us know so we can follow up.
Love to know. You know, we had at the time of this recording, we had a dog yesterday that was adopted and his name was Jack. Now, this dog looked like a Jack.
Okay.
Beautiful, big, white. I don't know what he was. I don't know if he was a Staffy mix or what, but he was a husky boy, white with black speckles, almost like the Target dog, but not really.
He had that eye patch.
Yeah,
I
had the eye patch. Beautiful, beautiful boy. And so his new name is Darwin, which I like.
That is a nice name.
It's a cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had another dog. I feel bad because I forget the original name, but the new name is Dietrich. Okay. Let's go back.
Okay.
The dog's original name when he was surrendered or found was Fat Boy. Wasn't fat.
No.
By any, literally was not. Well, I didn't really get it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. His fosters, thank you, Ram and Nithya, named him Georgie.
Okay.
And then the owners are now calling him Dietrich.
It's just, you know, pets are funny. There are children, we love them, but we're also, when you think about it, like, we can just change its name. He'll figure it out, and they do. Yeah. They learn it.
Okay, so they will learn it.
Yeah.
Because I'm curious.
Yes.
Because you know this kind of stuff. I don't. Yeah. How old is too old to change a dog's name?
There is no limit.
Really?
Here's the thing. You can teach any animal to respond to their name as long as when you call their name, something good happens. They're not. It's not like an internalized like identity thing for them. It's a sound that they recognize that they respond to because when you say that sound and they respond, good things happen. So you can teach an old dog new tricks, including a new name. Now, I will say it's easier sometimes for them transitioning if they already know what their name is.
Okay.
You know, if you adopt a dog and he's 9 years old, changing his name at this point is kind of like, why? Unless it's something that offends you.
Yeah.
But they can learn it, absolutely. You just have to, you say their name and give them a treat. Say their name, give them a treat. And pretty much that's all you have to do, and then they'll start responding to it. It's very easy.
Blown.
See? This is an educational podcast in addition.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's, I know we used to have like books back in my previous life at the SPCA. We would have books up at the admissions desk that had like, it's like a baby name book almost. Oh. So like if the intake staff, if there was a stray dog came in and they needed to give it a name, they could look in there and find inspiration. Yeah. And people would be fretting over this. It was like they would sit there and be like, I can't come up with the right name. It doesn't fit them. It doesn't look. And we're like, the owner's probably going to change it anyway. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, at least it's not A147369.
Yeah.
Right?
Makes
Any
it sound
name.
like a prisoner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any name works. But it's just some people, and you mentioned your fosters, which I want to come back to because that's one of the joys, I think, of getting to foster, especially if you foster puppies and kittens, is you get to learn their personality and name them. You get the honor of bestowing a name upon them and hope that it follows them into their next life. And that is a plug for fostering if if that wasn't obvious enough, because Cap needs foster. Every one of our rescue partners needs fosters. I don't know if I'm sure some of our followers are listening. We have seen on Facebook specifically a bunch of shelters who are saying, we're at not only at max capacity, we're at like 150, 250% capacity at this point. And so much of that could be alleviated by showing up and fostering. Yeah. And it can be short term. I do not live in a home that is conducive to fostering, and my pets don't like other animals coming into the home. But it's so easy. And you tell us a little bit about CAP's foster program, if you can, about what it takes to be a foster there.
Yeah, it's medical based.
Okay.
And so we provide the treatments. So if dog's heartworm positive, has mange, we assist with that.
Awesome.
If a dog needs to get out because they're developing some kennel neurosis, that's another reason. That's another way that you can help. So it doesn't have to be. It's primarily medical based.
Sure.
We also to get the dogs some and cats too. Give them a break from the environment.
Yeah.
Because shelter is still a shelter. We can make it as nice and as comfy, and we certainly do. And you walk through the doors of Cap, and
I love it there.
It is not a pound.
No, it's so pleasant.
It is not. It is very pleasant. Sandy makes the joke like these dogs are in Disneyland, and because it's true. These dogs get spoiled to where, and they should, because we don't know what it was like, especially if they were abandoned. There are cases where they're just left in our parking lot, or like in Patrick's case, beautiful Staffy boy who came and they found him in the park behind us, and he was emaciated and scared. And then he comes out after months of being in our care. He comes out looking like Canine Hulk. It's like, dude, how much do you bench press?
He
homie?
got those muscles, huh?
Yeah, dude. Beautiful
That's that
boy.
good kibble. That's that good kibble. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but I mean, we try our best to spoil the dogs and play with them. We have the Zoomy Zone out back, which is a retention pond.
I was so impressed by how they took this land and said, how can we make this work for us? And it's like a little mini dog park. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of getting a tour of Cap and was very, very impressed, because I live on the other side of town. Katie is like the boonies for me. But if you have an opportunity to go out and visit our friends at Cap, they are truly wonderful partners. So I want to ask a little bit about the marketing side of things, since you know people from your many years of catering to the masses. We have a lot of partners who are small rescues, trying to market dogs and cats and find homes for them. What are you finding to be successful? What are people looking for when they're prowling Pet Finder or looking on Facebook or even on the websites trying to find an adoptable pet?
Okay, so if you're starting small, just start with social media.
Yeah.
And yes, it's going to involve work.
Sure.
You don't have to beat yourself over the head with making the perfect Canva image. Right. It could be as easy as recording a video of an animal. If you are running a small organization, you 99%, I'm guessing, know their story.
Yeah.
Spike came in with 3 legs, and we had to go and beg a veterinarian to take him in and get him rehabilitated. And thankfully we didn't have to put him down because the infection was cleared. That's a YouTube short right there.
Yeah.
And with the proper naming and captioning of the video, you might go viral. Everyone loves an underdog story. No pun intended.
Or under cat.
Under cat. Under rabbit.
Yeah, exactly.
Rabbits are highly neglected.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, that's the homeless rabbit population is quite something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't come easy. There's no easy fix, but you know, you don't have to overthink the production of how you're executing these videos, and you could do a 60-second video on Spike, a 60-second video on Bob, another 60-second on your volunteer who came home from her 9 to 5 and brought her 2 toddlers with her and is going to go and beg her husband to do whatever. Yeah. And so that's another YouTube short right there. Yeah. And so you can use that same video in multiple different applications. So you can use it for YouTube, for TikTok, and for Instagram, and for Facebook. You can link your Facebooks and your Instagrams together. And I just pluralized both of them like an old man.
No. That made perfect sense to me. Your Facebooks and your Instagrams. That makes sense 100%. Yeah. So I think what I'm taking from that is sometimes I think there's the pressure to stand out and to your video or your picture has to be the most polished and the most perfect. And I think that can paralyze people sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So you're hearing from Freddy, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real, right? And true.
Oh yeah, just real and true. And the story, the content in and of itself is going to be powerful enough. Now, obviously, lighting matters, but it also doesn't.
Sure.
Because obviously, if you want to be able to see the animal, so you know it does matter in that context. But I mean, do you have to be in an immaculate studio like the one we're sitting in right now? Absolutely not. I would recommend someone listen to or even watch videos by Gary Vaynerchuk.
Okay.
He is a marketing genius. Okay. We're the same age, and he's running 8-figure marketing, social media marketing, consulting, agency. Yeah, and so he might know a thing or two about executing and just getting out there and just doing it. Because I think that the biggest issue with, and it doesn't have to be someone that runs a nonprofit organization. It could just be anybody who wants to make content about animals and maybe sell homemade dog treats. It's just getting from 0 to 1. Yeah. And it's what do they call that? The analysis paralysis?
Yes.
Yeah. That's a real thing.
You just can't do it because it seems too scary and too big.
I've been doing this, I've been talking for my entire career. And even then I'm still, I'm finally kind of getting over the hump of like, just get over yourself. Nobody cares. Yeah. If you want to do something, then just take the step and just execute.
And just do it.
And just do it.
And don't be scared, because the worst that could happen is, nobody sees the video. Yeah. But the best that could happen is you find that animal a home.
Oh, yeah.
Now, videos or pictures? What do you prefer?
I prefer videos, but, pictures also do really well. And there will be pictures that I think are amazing that don't do as well. Just objectively speaking, they're videos that I think are going to do amazing, and they get far more pop on Instagram than on Facebook, and then vice versa. So yeah, and what I'm also finding is, and this is just going back to not just CAP, but also some of the other stuff that I do marketing wise with my podcast clients, is that they're more the organic stuff tends to sort of resonate. And you see that in the amount of views. Okay. And what is amazing, and Gary V can back me up on this, is that you don't need to have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers, because that's another area where people get caught up. Right. CAP has got 5,000 or 6,000 Instagram followers. You all have however
about
many,
the same at that.
About the same. Yeah, on Instagram. We've got tens of thousands on Facebook. Right. And so someone who's starting an agency would see those numbers and be like, well, I'll never be like them. Yeah. Not knowing, well, one, Houston Pets It has a very specific mission. Exactly. CAP has a very specific mission. And if Robert wants to start his own, Beagle Rescue, Bob's Beagles. And he's starting from 0 to 1. He's going to see what Tina and Tema and Lisa are doing. He's going to see what Cappy has created. Yeah. And he's going to be like, you know what, I'm good. Yeah. And so but now social media has gotten in such a way where someone with only a handful of followers can go viral
at any moment.
At any moment.
Yeah.
So it's all about the content and not so much about the club that someone has built. Now, the numbers do matter because they can they can tell you that you're directionally correct.
Right. And then you can just keep going that way. I will say, I was relatively new to TikTok. TikTok has been around for a lot longer than I've been on it. And I was very hesitant at first. And before I started in this position, they had created a TikTok account and had been used I think there were only like 6 videos on it. And they had some pretty decent numbers. And I was thinking, oh man, like, I don't know if I can make the content that's going to get good numbers on it. All it takes is one video. One video. We were getting 200 and 300 views. We had one video get over 1,000. And now every video gets at least 1,000 views when we post it. And it wasn't, it was not as, I think the video took me like 10, 15 minutes to make.
See?
So I think if people can get over, like you said, that analysis paralysis, if you can get over that initial hump, that fear that you're not going to live up to the other. We have quite a few partners who are legitimate influencers, like who can make money off of what they're doing. My content is never going to be as popular as their content, but that's okay.
Right.
They have a different mission than I do when I'm sharing my content, and there's enough space in here for all of us. Like you were saying before, we all have our own audiences. We all have our own niche that we are fitting. The biggest issue is just getting over yourself and doing it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be polished. As long as it shows the character of the animal or the person or the organization, then you're doing it right.
Right. And I just want to give you one more small anecdote. My agency is on LinkedIn and we do email.
Yes.
And that was like, those are the areas where we're going to be. We have an Instagram account. It's a lot for a 99% solo operator.
Right.
And then I'm like, all right, I'm listening to Gary Vee, taking the advice here. And I'm like, all right, YouTube Shorts. I'm on it, dude. Okay, shut up already. I'm going to do it.
I'll do it.
I'll do it. I have the videos. My team has put together some incredible videos. And so last week, and I've had the YouTube channel, it just was inactive.
Sure.
And so I've got 3 subscribers.
Mazel tov. That's
One
very exciting.
is me.
That counts.
You got to be your biggest fan.
You are your own biggest fan.
Okay, but so let's not beat around the bush. I've got 2 subscribers.
Yeah.
All right.
Fair
Okay.
enough.
So fair enough. Right. One of my videos has got over 1,000 views, and the most recent ones have got like between 300 and 450 views.
And that's with only 2 subscribers.
That's with 2 subscribers. So to somebody who's starting off, YouTube Shorts, it's a jackpot. It's a gold mine.
That's good to know for me too. I don't utilize YouTube as much as I should probably.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense too, because YouTube is part of this thing called Google, which happens to be, I don't know, some kind of search engine.
Some big company.
Yeah,
you may have heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah, for discovery. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think that's really valuable. I know people are overwhelmed. So many of the people who work in this space are volunteers, and they, like you said, they work a 9 to 5, and the prospect of having to market these animals is really daunting. But I like the idea of just the 0 to 1 is really, really great advice. Thank you for that. I accidentally kept you longer than I promised I would keep you, because we could just talk all
about
day.
all this stuff all day long.
We'll probably have to have you come back. Freddie, thank you for all that you do for animals, because so many voices don't rise above the fray to be heard, but yours consistently does, and it's always for a good cause. And we're grateful for your partnership and your advocacy, and also for you taking time out of your busy Monday, small business owner, to come and join us on this.
Thank you so much. And I got to say thank you to Houston PetSat for all you do. I work with CAP, and y'all gave us a grant, and we don't take any of our help for granted. And as an individual, thank you for inviting me to be on the show. I before we started recording, we were joking around. It's like, I'm just a person on this little pebble in this infinite universe, and I'm inconsequential. But it means a lot to be invited to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. And I really just think of myself as a person who is just trying to leave the world in better shape by the time he leaves.
The pebble.
The pebble. By the time I leave the pebble, will it be in better shape? Will I have made some sort of impact? I hope. I don't know if I will. So yeah, thank you.
That's all we can really
Yeah.
try to do, right? Thank you again. And thank you for listening or watching. This has been Conversations for the Animals, and we will see you next time.